More than 156 years ago, the United States ratified the 14th Amendment to the Constitution. Now, if you think about it, the first 10 amendments they're called the Bill of Rights. That came practically with the initial signing of the Constitution. So a 14th Amendment, that was a pretty big deal. And it came right on the heels of the 13th Amendment that ended slavery. This was huge. It was a part of the America recovering from the Civil War. It's a part of America incorporating the slaves into American society. Now, the 14th had 5 sections, and we'll focus on the first of those 5 today with Bishop E.W. Jackson and former Congressman Louie Gohmert. The 14th, it's going to be in the headlines soon. President Trump has already put it in his attention span, and he's going to work to overturn the most recent interpretations of that. Is that a bad thing? Is it a good thing? Well, let me read the first 28 words of the 14th Amendment. It says, all persons born or naturalized in the United States and subject to the jurisdiction thereof are citizens of the United States and of the state wherein they reside. Here's the question. Does this mean any baby born here is automatically a citizen regardless of how they got here? Can a pregnant woman sneak across the border, deliver a baby, and demand citizenship? Surprisingly, the answer appears to be yes, at least according to the modern interpretation. But is that right? And if so, should it be changed? This will be the subject of an intense debate and will likely go to the Supreme Court for a final word. Joining me today is Bishop E.W. Jackson of the Commonwealth of Virginia, a dear friend, a civil rights leader, a devoted preacher of the gospel. E.W. is also an economist and attorney by training. E.W. is the founder of STAND, Staying True to America's National Destiny. Welcome, E.W.
Thank you for having me, Kevin. Great to be with you.
Oh, it's good to have you. I know the 14th Amendment is something that's near and dear to your heart, something you studied. Can you share the context of why it was enacted?
Well, look, it really was in some ways an answer to the Dred Scott decision that was handed down in 1857 by Judge Taney, who basically said that black people weren't citizens because, of course, slavery was still in effect at the time. And it's considered to be one of the terrible decisions ever made by the Supreme Court. But after slavery, after the end of the Civil War, our founders sought to, that is, those who were in office at the time, sought to correct that. And so the 14th Amendment was never intended to give what's considered to be birthright citizenship to anybody born on American soil. It was intended to make sure that everyone understood that the African slaves, former African slaves, and their descendants were citizens of the United States of America. And sadly, from the very early stages of the country, people sought to exploit that.
Well, President Trump, he has a problem with this. He brought it up. Is it because he's racist in challenging it, or is it not true and maybe he has a good point?
Oh, look, he has an excellent point. And of course, I admire President Trump's determination to address these issues. I just don't think, Kevin, that he can do it with an executive order. I think it will be immediately challenged. And unless the Supreme Court decides to overthrow a decision handed down in 1898, United States versus Wong Kim Ark, that held that a Chinese person who did not have any parentage in America was in fact an American citizen by virtue of being born in our country, which means they interpreted the 14th Amendment as giving what we now refer to as birthright citizenship. I just think unless they overturn that, he will lose with an executive order. But I think the country's really ready for an amendment to the Constitution that makes clear that only those born to American parents on American soil are American citizens.